Yo, what's going on? My name is Wee, and in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how in just under 72 hours, we were able to cash collect over $37,000. And that's cash collected, not revenue, but cash collected. As you can see by this payment processor right here, it says 30,000 something pounds, but it's actually around 28,000 pounds, which if you convert it to USD, as you see here, you convert it to USD, 28,000 pounds is about 37K. So I'm not lying or anything. The couple other thousands I'm not going to count because that was for my one of my clients' other offers. But yeah, lock in, guys, because I'm about to show you everything we did for this client. Unfortunately, we can't, show you guys exactly who this client is due to privacy reasons. But I'm gonna do my best and show you guys literally everything I did for this launch, so you guys can literally just copy me. So let's get into it, shall we? So how we actually did this launch was I broke it down into 4 phases for you guys. So we have phase 1, which is basically creating the offer, doing market research. Phase 2, we did what's called a waitlist. I'll break it down the whole entire thing for you guys in a bit. Phase 3 was actually launching the offer, and then phase 4 is the sales process. All right, let's get into phase 1, shall we? So phase 1 is basically setting the foundation of this offer, and how you want to do that is by first doing market research on the client's audience. As you know, you can't really sell something unless who exactly you're targeting to. So how you want to do market research is literally by doing IG stories. So this literally takes 1 day. So I guess before I get into it, what I want to really emphasize on is literally phase 1 literally just took a day. Like right after we closed this client, we hopped on onboarding call, literally boom, that same day I started market research and did crafted the offer. Because you see, what you want to do is speed to lead. Literally this client, you just closed, they might be feeling like a little skeptical on your on you as a person, since they haven't worked with you. So what you want to do is move quick and make money ASAP so they trust you. So let me get into it now. All right, so market research, IG stories, very simple. I'm gonna show you guys an example of what we did. We literally just threw up a story saying, hey, I'm trying to understand my audience better so that I can make better, or here's a template for you guys just to copy right here that you can use on your IG story. Basically what you want to do is have a poll, ask them a question, and then in exchange for them filling out your form, you give them some sort of a value. So this could be like a free guide, exclusive recording, something from like the paid group if the client has something from the paid. In our case, he did, so we give them like a free exclusive recording. But yeah, literally just lead with value, because if you give something for free, they'll give you something in exchange. So yeah, so this is like, let me give you guys a fitness example, since I can't really go too in depth of my own offer myself due to privacy reasons from the client. So for fitness, let's just say I'm just trying to understand my fitness offer better, right? And then you can say, hey, I'm trying to make better workout content for you guys. And then we just had a poll. You can say like one poll could be like, are you seeing any consistent results? Are you maintaining but not progressing, or struggling to stay consistent? And then you can just go on to be like, hey, we'd love to ask for you guys some questions right now with where you're at, with fitness. So in exchange, I'll give you an exclusive workout program from my paid fitness group. Focus on motivation and overcoming plateaus in fitness. DM me fitness if you'd be interested. And literally, this is just what you would do with fitness, but literally you can change this to whatever your niche is. Whether that be like drop shipping, clothing, reselling, things like that. So after you do that, and then they come into the form, so you send them to a type form, and these are some questions you ask. What we did was just ask, why did you start with niche? What's the main goal they have with niche? What are the roadblocks that's stopping them from achieving these goals? What's their monthly income? And how much money do you have currently saved up? So you're asking these questions so you know exactly what their goal is, so you can use that as your ICP. The roadblocks or the pain points they're struggling, that's stopping them from achieving those goals. And you just try to see, ask these last 2 questions just to see how much money your audience has, to see if they're broke or not, and see how much you can really charge for an offer. And yeah, literally once you get all that data, you want to use AI. So Chat GPT, Claude, use all that data, and basically it'll spit out some information about your exact audience. I can't like I said, can't go too in depth with what the offer and stuff like that is, but yeah, some key things you want to know is you want to really understand your ICP, so you can fully target them, copy when you're creating like VSLs, stories and stuff like that really resonates with your ICP. So you want to know exactly what the age is, where they're currently at, what they're currently doing, the income level, your offer messaging, your target audience, their main problems they have, the goals they have, the solution, your solution, and then the outcome that they will get, if they took your solution. And then once you have all that data, you want to send that data or use that data to craft your irresistible offers. Since now you know exactly what your audience wants and their pain points, you can use basically this formula right here Yeah, use this formula, and then use this goated guy Alex Hormozi, his book $100 million offer. If you guys haven't read it, I definitely recommend you guys reading it. It's really saucy, but yeah, you literally use that and make an offer. And then an example of what the offer would look like is basically I help a specific audience, achieve a specific result in a specific time frame without, whatever the common obstacle is, guaranteed or some sort of guarantee. And literally all this specific, audience, result, time frame, common obstacle is stuff you would use from the market research on your Typeform. And yeah, so for example, I'm gonna give you guys an example for a fitness offer, for example, just so you guys see what it really looks like. So you could be like, I help struggling, gym goers build a sustainable fitness routine in 90 days without any complicated workout programs, guaranteed, or we coach you for free. So something like that. So after you create your offer, a rule of thumb is that you should price this offer. We like high ticket, or me specifically, I like to focus high ticket. It's just better that way. And yeah, coming back from this book, the more you charge something, the more people are going to see value from it. So don't be afraid to charge more. I recommend charging anywhere from 3 to 5K. For our offer, we charge it was 5,000 pounds for this offer. So 6.6K if you convert it, as I recall. But yeah, you want to focus on high ticket and not low ticket, because low ticket offers, let's say you want to hit 50K a month, it's just going to require a massive volume and hella people joining that. Oh, and for context, yeah, we couldn't even do low ticket for this guy's offer if we wanted to hit 50,000, because I kid you not, this client that we had, he literally only had less than he had only around 3,000 followers on Instagram, and we were still able to do numbers like that. That's because we focus on a high ticket, as you only need 10 to 20 sales to reach numbers 30, 40, 50K compared to a low ticket offer. And yeah, that's the biggest mistake I see in the space, or I see coaches, people, or just people in the space do, is they focus on low ticket, start to charging anywhere from $97 a month. We had a different client literally who was charging $97 a month. He was only making 5K a month with this offer, and he knew he should have been making more. So we came into his business. We were like, yep, we fixed up, tweaked a few things, and we changed his offer to 3,000. And literally in 1 week, we 9x his revenue, since we did about, I think, 45K for that offer. But yeah, more of the story, focus on high ticket. Now then, let's get into phase 2, which is we started a waitlist. So this waitlist usually it takes about anywhere from 7 days to 14 days, so a week to 2 weeks. For ours, we did 10 days. I honestly don't think you can go anywhere, or you don't want to go anywhere longer than 2 weeks. So yeah, 7 to 10 days is the sweet spot, I'd say. And how the waitlist funnel works is you're literally setting a date 7 to 14 days out. And then, yeah, once you set that date, what you want to do is collect a list of leads that are interested in your offer. And then what you want to do is, once you collect those information, you want to nurture these leads and hype them up leading up to the date of the launch. So this is what the form would look like. They would just fill out this form to join the waitlist. And yeah. And then some questions we had on the actual waitlist is, the contact information, name, phone number, email, how long have they been doing X for, how old are you, how much do they have ready to invest, and what outcome would you want out of this program. Just more data on the actual waitlist members. What's actually funny is originally for this offer, we were only gonna charge 4,000 USD based off the original market research data we got. But after we did this waitlist and people started filling out the waitlist, I realized that after looking at the submissions, that a lot of his audience, or this client's audience, had a lot of money, just because they were an older audience. This was an older, mature audience. They were pushing over 40. They were pretty old audience, so they had money. And I was like, holy snap! Over 40 some percent chose the max option, which was they had over 6,000 pounds ready to invest, which is, I'm thinking 7-8K. So we decided on 5,000 pounds, which is about 6.6K for the offer. So it's good to do more research, ask more questions, because you can always tweak as you go. Now that you guys know exactly how the waitlist funnel works, let's go into how we actually get people drive traffic, so people actually sign up for the waitlist and know about it. So for this client, he had a different couple of traffic sources. So what we did was we focused on YouTube, Discord, and Instagram. So for YouTube, he was posting YouTube videos. So I had this client, just have a call to action in the video, in the middle of his video and at the end of his video, basically letting them know that he has a waitlist for this new thing that he's building these last couple months. That's basically what I told him. And then he would just have a link in the description, letting them know to apply to the waitlist. And yeah. For Discord, we actually built a Discord from scratch for this client. He didn't have a community before, but I decided to build a community for him just so we can nurture leads and get his audience in in his ecosystem in one space, so we can really, market and nurture them and hype the fuck out of this waitlist. So that's exactly what I did. Create a Discord free community. And then in there, once we actually, for context, we created this Discord and, nurtured it for about like a week and a half. And after a week and a half, we had like pretty much over like 200 members. Like I said, this creator was on the smaller side, only like 3,000 on IG. But yeah, once we had over 200 people, I decided, I dropped an announcement on the Discord with the link to join the waitlist. And there's some sauce for you guys, really real quick right here. Some really good big sauces. How we got people to even join the Discord is that we framed the Discord as really high value, since we basically did like weekly group calls where people who join the free community would get access to the client, and they would, be able to get asking questions, and he would just give them a lot of value. So once they, they get incentivized to join the free community, and then once we host those weekly calls, not only is my, client or creator, giving them lots of value, we have like multiple CTAs throughout the call, just pushing people to join the waitlist. And we actually had a lot of people, join the waitlist every time he did a CTA in the weekly group calls. So pretty saucy for you guys. And then lastly, Instagram. On Instagram, we're doing like I was pushing out like an IG story kind of sequence like every other day, just pushing to the waitlist, and then just changing the bio, having the link to the waitlist as well. So yeah, that's how we basically drove traffic and got people to, actually sign up for the waitlist. And now when you actually do get people to sign up for this waitlist, the third step is you want to actually nurture these waitlist members. You don't want to just do nothing with them with that whole list. We want to, nurture them, give them lots of values, and, really get them ready to buy. So how we did that is through emails and Discord. So like I said earlier, we created a free, Discord for this offer. Just so they could be all in one place in this ecosystem. And yeah, we're just having weekly group calls every week leading up to the launch. And yeah, these calls were like really high value, as they get access to the creator. The creator was dropping lots of value, mad sauce, just building up a lot of goodwill, because we're giving lots of good value. And yeah, basically we're giving them a taste of what they could get. So yeah, and then we also, everyone, since we collected their contact information, we put them into like an email sequence. I was sending them basically an email every other day, just nurturing the leads and giving them value. So here's how the email sequence works. So the first email would be just like a welcome email, just welcoming them in, letting them know about the offer, the exact dates, things like that. And then the second email could be like a personal story of your client. That's what we did. And then third email, just some sort of value email, giving them lots of value. Fourth email could be like a case study email, and then the fifth and sixth can literally just be interchangeable from value and case study. Just give them more value, give them more case studies, so they are ready to buy, because they see results, past results. And then the last two emails, you want to have the day before the actual launch. You want to have an email that hypes up these people, that hypes up the people for the actual launch day, gets them prep and ready, and lets them know the exact step, like, hey, be ready at this specific date, this specific time. And yeah, just really focus on urgency and scarcity. And then the last email is the actual launch email. So something like this right here. Boom, launches tomorrow, and boom, the day of launch email. And yeah, that's what we did to actually nurture the waitlist members. And then boom, let's get into the fun part, phase 3, which is, actually launching the offer and, start to actually make some money. So this launch, the first 3 days, was what we actually called a private launch. So we launched privately. So we only announced this launch to the waitlist members that joined the waitlist and the Discord. And yeah, what we did was we launched through email. We did a Discord announcement, and then we also did a SMS blast as well. And literally how you want to frame your launch is you want to frame everything with urgency, scarcity, FOMO, make them fear missing out, exclusivity, and just make them feel chosen. Like literally, if you make sure to do all these things, your launch is gonna do well. Even though my launch, as you can see, there was like only like 100, like pretty much like 100 people in this launch, so not too many people in the actual list, but we're still able to do some good numbers. It's because we've made sure, or I made sure to do all these things, make sure they feel all these kind of feelings, vibes, all that stuff. And yeah, what we also want to do is have a setter, dialer in place, and dial up every waitlist lead as well. And you want to make sure you want to call the fuck out of these leads. Really, you want to maximize, squeeze out your whole waitlist leads and make sure every lead gets called up, dialed up, and book a call. You want to make sure you follow up with every lead. You want to make sure you get those calls booked. Especially like me, in my situation, there's less than like 100 people on this actual waitlist lead. So I'm literally scraping everything. I'm juicing it out like a juicing out, ayo. But yeah, you get the point. I'm juicing out everything, and that's what you want to do. And yet, like I said here, you want to make them feel chosen. As you can see this email, I just said your invitation to join the blank, and then this was making them feel chosen right here in the subject headline, and then having urgency, scarcity, and FOMO by letting them know there's limited spots available. And as you can see, this email did fucking terrific. 72% open rate, 43% click rate, so that's really solid. I mind you, there's only 100 people, but still, that's pretty solid numbers. And yeah, that's what we did, and literally within like the first 30 minutes, we had over 15 booked calls. As you can see right here, this is like one of the Calendly. Literally, my closer's calendar was literally packed out, so it was fire. Executed everything right for the launch. And lastly, the funnel that we actually did for this launch was pretty simple. It was literally all the emails, like the Discord, SMS, and launch email, literally just sent them to an application page where they filled out the form and just made sure that they were qualified. And if they were qualified, they would get sent to a book a call page. Literally, they would book a call, and then boom, we would send them to like a pre-call page, just confirming their their call and their next step. So literally keep it simple. You don't want to overcomplicate things. Just keep it simple. It works best. Now then, let's go to phase 4, the last phase, which is the sales process. You want to have a process. You see, once they book a call, you don't want to just leave it there. You want to have a whole process in place to basically turn your closers into cashiers. As you can see this picture right here, you literally want to make them be cashiers. And how you want to do that? How you want to do that is by having a dialed-in sales process. So first, after they book a call, you send them to the confirmation page, giving them the next steps, letting them know they're booked, letting them know like their next steps, letting them also know that the team will be calling them very shortly. So immediately, after they book, I have a dialer in place that calls up these leads and triage calls them. Basically, we're qualifying these leads on the call, make sure they actually have money, they're qualified, and making sure they actually show up to these calls so we don't waste our closers' time. And what's really important right here that makes everything work great is speed to lead. Literally, once they book a call, you want to have your dialer call them up, ring, 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 within 5 to 10 minutes. Because literally, this is when the lead is most warm. They just booked the call. They're probably feeling tons of emotions. They're excited. They think that their life is about to change, which, they are if they join the program. And yeah, you want to have the lead call them up ASAP and make sure they, do all the triage steps. So on that pre-call page that confirms their call, you want to send them the next couple steps. Step 1 is literally tell them to watch a pre-call video. And in this pre-call video, you basically want to have your client or whatever record the video. First thing you want to do is make sure the video, you're hyping them up. You're letting them know they made a great decision booking this call and that their life is about to change. And then you want to go into like the next steps that, to expect, such as, letting them know that, hey, my team will be dialing them up, adding you to a group chat, yada, 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 just so, they expect those things to happen. The expectations, you want to pre-sell them on the offer. You want to handle any objections that they may have already, pre-handle those objections so they, once they go on the call, they don't ask these questions. Have some frequently answered questions. As you see, you basically want to handle these objections on the call. So, once they hop on the call, you don't want this call to be like an education based where your closer is, educating them and just wasting a lot of time. You want to have them, handle all those questions so that the closer can focus on, closing and, just being a cashier. And then, yeah, also in the video, you want to go over some results or case studies the clients had in the past. And yeah, this video is really important. You want to make sure this video you script out is dialed in, and you want to make sure that your team makes sure that these leads, prospects, watch the video all the way through. Because if they watch this video all the way through, literally your closer life is going to be easy, and they're going to be like this. Like, this is going to be your closer right here, and this is going to be you literally just collecting cash just like that. So yeah, that's one part of the sales process. Another part is just making sure they actually show up to call. Like, there's no point in doing all this, all the previous things I showed you if the lead doesn't show up. Literally for this launch, I think our show up rate was freaking cracked. I think only out of everyone that showed up, we only had like one or two no shows out of like over like 20 calls. So pretty crazy. And yeah, so make sure you want to have like automatic reminders on like Calendly. That's what we use. Just have email and SMS reminders 24 hours before the call, 6 hours, 1 hour, and 5 minutes before the call. So for emails though, these reminders, the 24, 6 hours, and 1 hour before reminders aren't just simple reminders that being like, hey, just reminding them like their call is in X day, X date, or whatever. That's weak, bro. Come on, it's 2025. You gotta level up. These emails, reminders, you want to continue nurturing these leads and give them more value. Basically hammer them with your client's content. So what we did 24, 6 hours, and 1 hour before, we sent them more case study videos to watch, exclusive trainings for them to watch, basically give them more value, nurturing them. So by the time, they hop on the call, they're pretty much ready to buy. And then SMS reminders are actually just regular reminders. Yeah. And then, we have the manual reminders. What we do, or what I have my team do, is after the setter triage calls them and, make sure they're qualified, what they'll do is add them onto a WhatsApp group chat. And they add this WhatsApp group chat with the setter, the closer, me, and the lead. And basically we have the whole team introduce themselves. I have my closer send like a video or a voice message introducing themselves and letting them, the lead know if they have any questions to ask them. And this way you just build connection with the lead. So, once they're on the call, the tension is, a little lower since they kind of, met the closer or been introduced to them, the tension's lower and, their guard is down. And, they build rapport previously. And in that group chat, what I also have my team do is make sure that they watch the pre-call video. Like I said, if they watch the pre-call video, your closer's life is going to be a lot easier. So you want to make sure they watch the video. And then what you also want to do is have the setter remind them like an hour, 24 hours before the call. You want to have them reach out in the group chat, let them know the call is in 24 hours. And also an hour before, you want to even dial them up. I have my dialer or setter dial them up an hour before the call and making sure they show up to the call. And then 5 minutes before as well, I have my closer reach out, just sending them the link and letting them know that their call is in 5 minutes. And literally, it's crazy, bro. Like, come on. Like, all these reminders, everything you're doing with automatic and manual, like, there's no way the lead doesn't show up. You're spamming them, hitting them on, like, everything. So, if you do all that right, make sure, you nurture them with the pre-call. You nurture them even more on the email reminders you send them. And, nurture them by making sure they show up to the call. Boom. That's exactly what we did. And that's how we did about 37K in just under 3 days. You can see the date, April 28th. Today, well, when I did it, that was like May 1st. Boom, boom. As you can see the date right here. Yeah. And guys, this video, that's exactly how we did, over $37,000 in just under 72 hours. Basically showed you guys everything I did for this launch. So hopefully this gave you guys some value. I dropped literally all my sauce. So literally, you guys can just copy me for that. And if you guys like the video, feel free to like that shit. Damn, I sound like one of those bros. But anyways, feel free to follow my Instagram. Feel free to send a DM if you have any questions about like the whole process, how we did step X or whatever step. If you had a question, just feel free to hit me up and I'll reach back out and answer your questions. I'm always more than happy to connect with you guys. And little quick plug, if you're a creator or a client and you want this kind of funnel systems or me to launch like your own offer for you just like this, feel free to click the link below and book a call and would love to have a chat with you. But anyways, appreciate you guys watching the video. Have a good one.